Khalusi, a man called Khalusi in London just after the war. He was an Iraqi who changed this business of the Arab Gulf to the Persian Gulf. Well, now, in all the Arabic books from Ibn Hawqal, Istakri, Muqaddal, Kulakum, all of them, it's the Khalij al-Faris, not Arab. Why did they change it? Because the Arabs want to show that they are what they are. And I think that's not a good idea. The fine arts and wonderful craftsmen of Iran, Islam, yani Arab. We forget about the Iranians. It's a very bad thing, I think, that this forgetting is. Now, they say, well, everybody used Arabic, didn't they? So they're Arabs. No, they are not all Arabs. Not any more than in Western Europe when they used Latin. The French and the Germans and the others didn't say we're Italians or we go back to Rome, nor should the Iranians say, well, just because we use Arabic language, that we go back, we are Arabs. That's not the case. In fact, it's not even me. It's not even me who says it. All you have to do is read Ibn Khaldun, the Muqaddam al-Tariq, in Tunis, and he will tell you what happened. That those people who formed the basis of Islam were Iranians. All of these people, Bukhari, Samarkandi, so on and so on and so on. My God, it's in all hadith, it's in fiqh, it's in lugat, it's in Arabic grammar, Zamakshari, it's in Khwarezmi, it's in everything. It's astounding. And Ibn Khaldun says that. He's an Arab writing in Arabic. It's not me who's saying that, it's he that's saying that. So I would like to beg you that please remember that the problems may be on both sides, but Iranian language, literature, and the like should be, I think, should be recognized by the Arabs and taught in their university. And in other words, Iran must be given a place and not say that everything is Arab simply because of the Arabic language. I'm very much against that. That's my message to you. But you want to know all about what's going on in the brain drain and all of that. Well, the infrastructure which you have in Iran, and of course this isn't my forte, I am mainly interested in culture, and that is the thing that keeps Iran together. It's this unbelievable command of culture. And all you have to do is look at what goes on in Iran. They raise monuments, they raise maqbara, shrines to Sadi, Hafiz, Firdowsi, Omar Khayyam, and the like. They have nobody for Nader Shah Afshar or anybody else. These are they're not like Napoleon in France or like Tamerlane in Uzbekistan or Chinggis Khan in Mongolia, conquerors. No, the Iranians value culture above all other things, and there is nothing in the world, believe me, like Iranian poetry and the like. Well, this is my message to you. But I want to say that as far as what is going on in Iran, there is a lot of problems which they have because they simply cannot get a lot of good technology. Maybe with a little bit of exception of the Chinese who built the Tehran metro and was out. But, for example, for a number of days, for 3 days in January, they couldn't fly because they couldn't de-ice the airplanes, and it was a complete surprise to everybody in Tehran, and it was a constant snow and ice and everything else. So, there's a constant renewal of the way, how are they going to keep the young people from straying from this social conduct which is passed on by the revolution. And I think it's really very palpable what they're saying there. And how in this world which is now so globalized and intermeshed culturally, without a kind of American bogeyman or kind of a bogeyman to frighten people, how can the social restraints on innovation and experimentation be maintained in Iran? So I think, another thing that, which I talked about this, incidentally, what I'm telling you, I'm more or less telling what I told the people in Persian, in the Persian language, in many places in Tehran itself. Because there's one thing very important about this Shiite religion. I don't know about your Shiite, but I know about Iran. And that is, as I learned way back about 50 years ago when I visited a remarkable scholar, ulama, by the name of Abu al-Uzma, anyhow. I forgot his name, anyhow. It slipped by. He comes from the town in the south. Anyhow, he told me, you must remember that the Bab al-Ijtihad will always remain open. That means the gate of inquiry. And if this present government tries to freeze it, it's contrary to their own beliefs, because he actually, I remember him saying, you cannot hold back progress in the Sharia. You cannot hold back progress in science or anything else. This is the true Islamic doctrine. So that's the way they have it. So innovation is needed there. So, so this consolidation of the revolution is marked by kinds of constraint upon change, and something has to be done about it, because we have this terrible problem of young people who don't have any places to live. How do they start family, urban jobs and the like. One thing they're doing anyhow, which they've been doing for some time, is to control the population by trying to, I don't know whether the only place in the Middle East where they are actively issuing condoms and the like, giving people to make sure that they don't explode. So in effect, maybe to maintain political hold, which they have, Iran has to have two polities which maybe are independent. They have they have to export, and therefore they have to legitimize the success of the political life ushered in by the revolution. And this is what we call the Islamic solidarity card, which they have everywhere, which they push everywhere. And Iraq, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, all present problems. In a certain respect, they've been sort of pushed out of Central Asia by the Russians and by others. But, it's quite interesting. Iran didn't support the Chechens. And there may be a reason for that. I mean, among other things, people in the North Caucasus are Iranians. They're called Ossets. They're not Chechens. They're Ossets. And, as you know, the Iranian government is very friendly to Armenia. They're both Christians. But those were Iranians up there. I'm not sure that's the only reason, but there are obviously political problems too. But Russia and China, in a sense, have outmaneuvered Tehran and the former Soviet republics of Central Asia. Now, I don't know. You have also the second card which they're playing is to maintain a state of siege by searching out enemies. We got the Americans in Israel and so on. And I think this is a kind of a what would be called a jihad, a victim or martyr card that they're also one of the things that they're playing. Of course, they're not going to draw any influence in Iraq. Sometimes I think everybody says, oh yeah, Iranian influence on Iraq. It's mostly Karbala and Najaf influence on Iran nowadays. The Iranian culture is not Iraqi by any means. Now, they have the Iranians, it's really crazy. Here, the Americans knocked out the Taliban. That's what the Iranians were trying to do. They wanted to get rid of Saddam Hussein. The Americans got rid of Saddam Hussein. My God, I mean, these people are, they almost belong together. I'm not sure exactly what the result of that going to be. And again, as I say, my message to you is mainly this cultural message rather than the politics and everything else. All over, you've got this enormous, the direction. What is the direction for the Iranian people, both abroad and in Iran? I think it is this overwhelming importance of Iranian culture, which people have forgotten. Iran has been forgotten, and I hate to say this, but Islam, Arab Islam? No, it's much more than that. It's international. And just as the Russian literature, music, arts, and literature were tied to the emigres from the Soviet Union, so the rich Iranians out in the diaspora ties a large, very successful emigre community to Iran, no matter what Iran's current politics may be. And so I think rather than to continue with any kind of discussion which I'd rather have you ask questions, because Iran is a huge country and a lot of things, and I certainly can't cover all of them. But I think that Iran's government is currently immune from change unless that change comes within the population. And this generation has been steeled by the 8 years of the Iraq-Iran war, and it has this patriotism hinged on martyrdom everywhere. But unless this new generation that is coming along can be so inspired or controlled to abide such sentiment, change is inevitable. It's bound to occur. So you say, what's going to happen? In my opinion, this is my opinion, nothing else, this is the end of the imamate. That is to say, Ali Khamenei is the shadow of God upon earth. His vizier is Ahmadinejad. That's what it means. And that's, in the end, that's going to end. But the system will remain. And who's going to take over? You may have read in the newspaper that the Sepah, that is the guard, the Iranian guard, the Pastaran, the head of it has begun mixing in politics, supporting that. Well, I have a feeling that according to almost the rhythm of revolution, even the French and the Russian, the Chinese, you will have a strong man will take over, but the system will continue, and it will just simply be a change. The ulama will return to Qum. That's my conclusion. Anyhow, that's all I have to say. I mean, right now. So I think I kept it under half an hour.
Thank you, Dr. Fry. Thank you very much for your time and for your interesting presentation on Iran.
Is there anyone from the Iranian embassy?
Yes,
I am.
خب السلام علیکم. شما این دارید یا ندارید؟
ببینم مطمئن نیستم اگه داشته باشم خدمتتون.
دارید؟
I am not sure that.
Well, if you don't, you must show them, because this is a beautiful.
If I don't
English,
yeah, I'm sure I will search. If we have, we will. If we don't, we will find out. We will supply you.
أنا بال شماست.
We have
Dr. Abdullah, we have someone from the American embassy too.
Who's American embassy? Well, why don't you shake hands with him and say hello to them for him to say?
Don't. It's good we have them in the same room. So.
Since we have people from the American embassy and the Iranian embassy, let me start with asking a question. Since they both have the same objectives in Iraq, and they both have same objectives in Afghanistan, why can't they come together?
Oh, God. Well, I'll tell you one of all.
Anything in history
I don't know what
stops them from being together? Or it's only Bush?
I'm so disgusted with Bush, I can't say much anything what's going on with what is. Of course they should get together. Oh my God. I hope in Baghdad now they're beginning to talk to each other. They got to first talk and then develop. But you got to get somebody. Maybe you could. This is a hypothetical situation. Because Condoleezza Rice go and see Ali Khamenei. That's what you do. Look, Putin talked to him. So why can't she or somebody like that? Maybe Bush ought to go, but I doubt if he would. But I mean, don't ask me about American politics. I don't know what's going on there.
Thank you. I want just to remind you that it's coffee here or soft drinks. Please come and help yourself. Somebody will help you as well. No, please.
Hello, my name is Faraï. I'm an economic consultant, so I talk more cultural than economical. I am not in the field of politics, so I'm not into politics. I really congratulate Dr. He's vision about the Iranian culture. I am from Isfahan. I'm sure Dr. knows Isfahan.
Delhi, Iran. Isfahan is really the heart of Iran.
Isfahan is the most oldest city. It has about 3,000 years history written. And it used to call J because it was the military basis. Later on, when Arab came to Iran, they came to Isfahan, the same military basis. But later on, Arab became Iranian. The only difference between Iran and the other Arab world country is Iranian became Muslim, but Iranian never became Arab. But the other countries, they have also great civilization, great culture, like Egypt. Egypt, originally they are not Arab. They became Arab because of Islam. Egypt has a great civilization. There is no doubt about that. But Iranian, with the great civilization that they used to have, they could have kept their own culture and their own language. Dr. mentioned Ferdowsi. Ferdowsi was one of the great Iranian poets who could renovate the Persian language after 300 years of Islam in Iran. I'm sure Doctor knows better than me about that. Doctor mentioned that there are three different periods of historical, of Iranian history. The last one was the Iran's revolution. What I am going to say, I am one of those young ones who I was in Paris with Imam Khomeini. I was in Neuchâtel when the Islamic revolution happened. And I came with Imam Khomeini to Iran. I am the same generation, and now we are controlling the country. 3 days ago, we celebrate the 29th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. With all difficulties, with all obstacles that we have had last 30 years, Alhamdulillah, with our young generation, we could have a lot of progress. Scientific, technology, medicine, and all this maybe you have here or not. Alhamdulillah, we could have. Doctor mentioned, at the moment, more than 50% of the Iranian university generation are women, are girls. They go in a university. Unfortunately, we do not have that much propagation to propagate and tell what we are. If you compare with the other countries who have the propagation facility. But anyway, we are happy and we are proud of our country. Doctor mentioned that we are having